Hello and welcome to The Pursuit of Truth. It is the 10th of August 2018 and I was just watching Beyond the Imaginary Curve on YouTube and it was, what was it entitled? Euclid's First Principle. And it was interesting. Gav and Dale were talking about propositions and first principles and axioms and stuff like that. I put a comment, which is basically what I'm going to talk about now. So if you've seen the comment, you know what I'm going to waffle on about. And I have mentioned this previously on one of these podcasts. So the idea is a proposition is a way of coming up with an answer to something that you can't prove, or something you're not going to prove, but you're coming up with a principle that makes sense. Like the first principle, I think it's you have to have like a few examples to prove your point, but it may not actually be true. And my problem is with that is this, because he was talking about infinite regress, i.e. chicken and egg, the Big Bang, God, where you can't, like if you say, like if we take the chicken and egg, which came first, it's an infinite regress problem, because you say the chicken came first, what came before that? Well, it was the egg and etc, etc. Because we don't have the answer to it, it's going to go on and on and on and on. So that they can, mathematicians, scientists, whoever, so that they can communicate with each other, they then will come up with a proposition to answer that question. Such as, I guess you could say, well, God created the chicken, or the chicken came out of thin air. My problem is with that is that's what led us in this problem, or a lot of the problems that we have in the world today, especially when it comes to maths and science, is that we allow ourselves to fool ourselves by giving a proposition that we cannot prove and that may be fallacious. I think it's much better, that we just admit that we do not know the answer to that question, rather than, just for communicative sake, just say, oh, we're going to stick this one in, and I can say, well, this and this. I've measured a sound wave that proves that the Big Bang took place, and it's expanding and whatever. So that means, that we did come from nothing. So there you go. Even without, to me it just seems problematic, because you're actually admitting that, yes, I can't prove this, and it may be wrong, but it may be right. But let's go with it, so that we can just continue and fill that blank in and stick it in our textbooks and teach our children. But they won't realise that it's a proposition. They will think it's fact, because we won't go around telling them that, oh, we have this kind of terminology where we can get around things just so that we can move on by having a theory, as it were. So I'd much prefer, well, to me it sounds more sensible, that we admit sometimes we don't have the answers to everything, because that's the truth, isn't it? I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg. I don't know how I got here, in the sense that, because he gave an example of, well, how did you get here? Well, my mum and dad. How did my mum and dad get here? Well, their mum and dad. How did they get there? Well, their mum and dad, and etc. And eventually you have to go down to what Adam and Eve, you know what I'm trying to say. And then what about before them? Oh, then there was God. Well, what about before God? Oh. We always want to find an answer for everything and show how clever we are. And that is the problem, I think, that we are too afraid to say, I don't know. Whereas that's the actual truth, isn't it? And maybe it'd be better we teach people that, rather than coming up with theories that, we can't prove, you could go through your life believing in something, that was completely fallacious, just because someone else decided to have it as a proposition, as a first principle. For example, the Earth. Everyone believes the Earth's round. And if in like 100 years they say the Earth's flat and here's, you know, yeah, we were wrong, people lied to you. So all those millions, billions of people that lived believed a lie. Wouldn't it have been better for them all just to have said, well, we don't know where we live. I can't prove it to you. Well, actually, some of these things you could prove because, you know, but what do you know what I'm trying to say? So I think this leads into my previous conversation where it was talking about the end game and can change be possible, and I think that's another one of the changes that we need to make is education. It needs to be a lot more truthful. You know, we don't want to fill our books full of theories. We want to fill our books full of facts, and if we don't know something, I don't think there's any danger in saying, well, at this time, we don't know, rather than, oh, it could be this or it could be that. Or at least if we're going to do that, we need to make that clear. Maybe that's better. I mean, I think it's fine to sort of have propositions and say, yes, it could be this, it could be that, because that's how we get to understanding truth, because eventually someone else will pick it up and say, oh yeah, no, and then it'll be proven. So yeah, to not have them, yeah, that maybe it's more dangerous because then we'll never get anywhere. But it needs to be clear that that it isn't a fact. That's the problem. If you pick up a school book, I doubt you can tell the bits that have been proven and the bits that haven't, the bits that use propositions and the bits that don't. And I think that's what needs to be made clear, so that we are of all understanding of truth and lies within our life. Because it seems to me that we've been taught so many lies, thinking that they were factual and true. And then when we find all this out, we think, oh my God, how is that possible? And the other thing they were talking about, and I think this I already answered on Sheeps and Neeps, the missing pound thing, where the meal costs £30 and the waiter realises he's overpaid, gives £5 back, and so but they give him a tip of £2, and then they calculate up they paid, you know, because they got a pound, you know, they've got £5, that's a pound each, and they gave £2 to the waiter, and then they calculate that the meal costs £9 each, but that's not correct because they've forgotten about the £2 that they gave to the waiter. So what they do is they add up the 999 because they got the pound back, so they took a pound off the 10. But they forgot that that included the £2, so that needs to be divided out between the three of them. So it's a mix-up of maths. There's another one of those proofs that how you can mislead people, because when you just look at it, it takes your head a bit of working out to get round it, because it looks, yeah, that looks about right. 999, yeah, because they got a pound each, and they gave £2, so you add that 999 plus that £2. But they should have taken off more. That's the thing, because they took from that original £10 includes that waiter's £2 tip. Anyway, it's something like that. You can Google it. Actually, you'll probably get a better understanding of it than my waffling. Anyway, that's enough for me. I just wanted to make those points. But I'd advise everyone to go and listen to that YouTube video, Euclid's First Principles on Beyond the Imaginary Curve. Gav's explanation, as usual, is very mind-blowing. It's very he's good at breaking down things and making you understand it, and actually teaching us maybe the things that we should have been taught in the first place, so that at least we know, you know, what's going on, and the things that we believe to be factual or true, how they've been got to that stage. Anyway, take care, take it easy, God bless and peace.